Anyway, I learned not to pull that shit again. Unintended consequences I did not anticipate. I had no intention of starting a religion, least of all one as melodramatic as the one called Christian. It was such a disaster, I canceled the whole second act. Ain't no way I was sending that fool back. And, folks, this has all just been one big misunderstanding. I mean, what kind of God do you think that I am? Do you really think that I would take my own son and allow you to beat and whip and torture and kill him? And then resurrect him and say, now you're saved because of the sacrifice that he made? What kind of sacrifice was that? He didn't even die. I brought him back and he's supposed to be me anyway. And since I obviously ain't dead, wasn't the whole thing a charade? And forgive you for what? For being human? For being confused and flawed and desperate and choosing to occasionally do some unwise things? Pfft, tell me about it. You should have seen the shit that I pulled back in my Old Testament days. I made you this way. I made up the rules to this game. So shouldn't I be the one to blame? But I say no. I'm going to condemn you to hell anyway and make up this Jesus loophole so that I can reel you back in and say, well, now you're saved from all the fucked up and twisted rules that I made. And since I'm God, and I can do whatever I want, can somebody please tell me, what was the point? I could have just forgiven you without taking anyone's life. You're forgiven. There was no need for a blood sacrifice. The way you tell it, it's like I chose sadistic cruelty. Man, I must really need to get me some booty. You call this God's love. It's a disgrace to the human mind. You are more moral, you are more kind than all those fucked up things you read about me in the Bible. Why don't you give yourself some credit once in a while? The only sacrifice that you ever made was of your own compassion, condemning someone to everlasting hell for apostasy and having human failings and passions. You are cowards when you grovel, abstaining from your own sense of what is moral because you would rather have some fascist God's approval. Could there be a vision of the world any darker? No wonder you ignorant, conservative bigots vote for Stephen Harper. I sound like I'm the world's biggest loan shark. Oh, I gave you a soul and now I want it back. And don't you feel responsible? Don't you feel guilty? Oh, I can't stop sinning and the interest rates are killing me. And I go through my life and I'm constantly guessing what is a sin and what is a blessing. And then every little thing try to divine God's message because I think the whole fucking universe was created just to teach me a lesson. Am I the only one who thinks that this God is a little selfish? Insisting we worship Him when it is within that you find knowledge? That He's a little immoral and unjust, bestowing a sense of specialness on those who revere belief over deed, who would have to subscribe to the narrow-mindedness of some creed and all the other things that I've been accused of, cursing homosexuals in Sodom and Gomorrah, approving of genocide, slavery, rape, and the stoning of children, animal and human sacrifice and the denigration of women, and wiping out every struggling, innocent, beautiful, living thing on this planet in a flood because, oh, I didn't like the way that you were acting. If all this is what you think of me, people, then this God that you believe in is pure fucking evil. So tonight I'm here to apologize. It was just supposed to be a joke, and I didn't realize how hard it must be for you, being mortal, knowing that you'll die one day, all of your sorrow. But Christianity? Unsubtle, not funny at all, and I'm sorry for the trouble. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the priests who diddled your kids. I'm sorry for the Pope who tried to cover up what they did. I'm sorry for all that bullshit about the devil. If you got to know him, you'd see he's really a fine fella. I'm sorry for all that bullshit about hell and mortal sin. I'm sorry for all the church-going, smug, self-satisfied, suburban yuppie hypocrites who just pick and choose what they want the Bible to mean to them. I'm sorry for the way that they tried to stifle progress and science. I'm sorry in the face of social and economic injustice. Most of them are pretty damn quiet. I'm sorry for all those fucking morons who think everything has a reason. I'm sorry for all the stupid jocks who think that I gave them a winning season. I'm sorry for the censorship and the burning of books. I'm sorry for the Crusades. I know how that looked. I'm sorry for the burning of the heretics and witches. I'm sorry for the misogyny and the way the church has treated women. I'm sorry for the Freemasons. I'm sorry for Fox News and Sarah Palin. I'm sorry for the conservatives and that arrogant, moralizing, born again, and oh, by the way, this is just my opinion, born again, boneheaded, crypto-fascist, small-minded, mean-spirited, uncompassionate, unempathetic, sociopathic, evil, twisted, sidewinding fuck Stephen Harper, and that smirking, incompetent, shit for brains, old money, common man phony, oil company crony, corporate cocksucking war criminal George Bush, Republicans, and those fear-mongering idiots who believe in the rapture. I'm sorry for all the pompous, blowhard jerks who think that they know my plan. I'm sorry for anyone who ever thought that I was punishing them. I'm sorry for the Inquisition. I'm sorry for authoritarian legitimization. I'm sorry for the slaughter of the Indians. I'm sorry for all that morbid medieval art in the museums. I'm sorry for Bob Dylan's Christian period. I'm sorry for Pat Boone that you ever had to hear him. I'm sorry for all those televangelists. I'm sorry that the church never has to pay taxes. I'm sorry for the repressions of the pleasures of sex. I'm sorry for the guilt. And fuck me, I am sorry for Glenn Beck. I am sorry for the whole bloody mess. Now for my sake, will you Christians please shut the fuck up and give it a rest? Well, all done now. No more. It's going to be a good long time before I ever again go knocking on that door. Dangerous goods is what. Next time, some fucking idiot might blow the whole planet up. And anyway, oh, what the hell. I'm going to come right out and say it. I might as well. You know, folks, sometimes, I really do think that you would all be a lot better off if you would just stop believing in me. Something about developing the full potential of your critical faculties. Challenging yourself to rise above your primitive, hardwired tendencies for magical, self-centered thinking and, well, gullibility. Insist that your local high schools teach courses in logic, rationality, and taking responsibility for what you are thinking. And get over this fear of facing reality. And just one word of advice: live this life as if it is the only one that you will ever have. Well, I feel better. It's good to come clean. You know, if you give me a few more minutes, there's something else I could explain, and I hope it doesn't sound like I'm rambling and just making excuses, but I'd like to tell you all about what went wrong when I invented those fucking Buddhists. Thank you very much, and have a godless life.